The Super Bowl, as we welcome you to the show. So glad that you're with us today. Dan Orlovsky, Andrew Hawkins. We've got Marcus Spears as well. A lot to get to as we're getting closer to Super Bowl 59. There he is. There's a wave. Now we can officially get going here.
You went from a wave to now the
like a, what was that? All right, so let's dive in. Okay, you saw the fun from media night at the top of the show. The Eagles were there answering all sorts of questions from the media as they prepare to face the Chiefs on Sunday. And of course, Sal Paolantonio is there covering the Eagles like always all week long. Sal, what are the Eagles' plans for today?
Well, they have a day off today. They did a little media, so I guess technically they didn't have a full day off. They did have a light weightlifting session this morning at the Saints practice facility here in New Orleans, but they have the rest of the day off and tonight. But I talked to Big Dom, head of security of the Philadelphia Eagles. He said, curfew tonight, 11 p.m., back to football. And last night, I got a chance to talk to Saquon Barkley, the Eagles' stellar running back. But before I did that, I talked to his coach, Jamal Singleton, the running backs coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I said, just talk to me a little bit. Describe what Saquon Barkley is about around this football team, how he sets the tone. He said, you know what? When your best player is your hardest worker, that makes everybody else fall in line. So when I got a chance to talk to Saquon Barkley exclusively, one-on-one on opening night, I asked him, what is the messaging going into Super Bowl 59? Listen to his answer.
Enjoy it, but at the same time, stay locked in. It's a business trip, but with all this stuff that comes along with it, enjoy it, have fun with it, use it, but stay locked in. Keep the main thing the main thing.
The main thing is win the football game.
Of course. That's why we're here. 2 teams left, the best in the AFC, the best in the NFC, and you wouldn't want it any other way.
For you personally, what does this moment mean to be here on the doorstep of going to this game?
It's amazing. It's amazing to be here, especially with these group of guys and with my teammates. It's been a dream of mine, but I know I said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it. The dream wasn't just to make it to the Super Bowl. The dream was to win.
Congratulations. See you on Sunday.
Always. Appreciate you.
Okay. You know, I've watched the maturation of Saquon Barkley and his development within this football team, Laura. Talked to him in April, talked to him in June, talked to him in August, talked to him in Brazil. Seen how he has been on and off the field. And he stayed with the same message within his own self, his own family. Number one, I want to rewrite my story. But the only way I can really do that in the end is to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
I love it, Sal. We can't wait to see the Eagles and the Chiefs in this game. Saquon Barkley, as you well know, one of the best stories in the NFL this season. And the Eagles certainly leaned on Saquon throughout the season, but the pass game finally got going in the NFC Championship game. Jalen Hurts had nearly as many pass yards as he did in the first 2 playoff games combined. He averaged 2.5 more yards per attempt. Now, the biggest area of improvement was passing deep. He completed 4 of his 5 passes at least 15 yards downfield versus the Commanders after completing just 1 of those throws in the first 2 games. So, Hawk, what's key for Hurts and the pass catchers to keep that going against the Chiefs?
It's beating press coverage. The Chiefs play press coverage at a higher rate than most teams in the league. And when they go against A.J. Brown versus Trent McDuffie, McDuffie feels more comfortable and they're better in press coverage. But A.J. Brown is a press coverage beater. So this will be the biggest key for the Eagles. Can he do this effectively? This is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're going to see him employ a physical release against the defensive back to create separation. But this is what makes A.J. Brown special. He's also elusive enough to create the quickness and slip that release just when the DB is expecting a physical jam. And then last but not least, he has the ability to put it all together. Enough speed to threaten to go and also be elusive and physical at the point to create big plays. Whenever teams press A.J. Brown, he has a 37% target rate, which is the highest in the league. So Jalen Hurts knows if you press him, I'm going to him, and they're going to see a lot of single high because of Saquon Barkley.
It's so impressive to see that. I mean, his route tree is outside release go, outside release slant, sometimes a stop, and he still wears people out.
It's ridiculous.
I think this is a huge Devontae Smith game as well. You got to think Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator, is like, we're going to stop Saquon Barkley. We're going to try to take A.J. Brown away. Devontae Smith played the Chiefs 3 times. In all 3 games, 6+ catches in all of them, over 99 yards in all of them, and 2 explosive plays of 20 yards or more in all of them. I just believe that against this elite defense that's going to try to take away your fastball, your first and second best pitch, Devontae has been such a viable threat. If one of those receivers impacts this defense, that Saquon Barkley run game is going to be a huge benefit.
You mentioned the elite defense that the Chiefs have. Certainly the Commanders, different story. So this is a much tougher competition for them. Marcus, can the Eagles do enough to buy Hurts time against Chris Jones and George Karlaftis?
They absolutely can, and a part of it is what Dan and Hawk just talked about. But Saquon Barkley is the reason that they can do enough. You either use him in protection or you use him as a chess piece to create time for your quarterback, whether that's RPO in the backfield, whether that's with the threat of a screen game. There is an opportunity to slow down that blitz package and that rush. We know Steve Spagnuolo is going to do it, and most of the time he catches you off guard on some down and distance situation. But more importantly, on third down, if you get in a critical situation, you know what Steve Spagnuolo is going to do. And listening to Hawk and Dan reminded me of something from years ago. Y'all, this is the version of AJ that we saw when he was with the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry was his running back. And I think about that from the context of when you get to this game, this particular game against Trent McDuffie, and having to win those one-on-ones, it absolutely is what the game may come down to in critical down and distance situations. But to that question, Boogie, Saquon Barkley can help you a lot in the vein of not just handing them the football off, but moving them around and changing his location to slow some things down for the Kansas City Chiefs.
One, Jalen Hurts will have to do a great job of seeing the picture change. You've mentioned it, Hawk. Marcus just hit it there, the one-on-ones. It's not going to be obvious, though. Yeah. It's not like he's going to get to the line of scrimmage like he did against the Commanders and you say, oh, you have one safety in the middle field. I've got double press corners on the outside. I know what the coverage is. No team lies to you coverage-wise more than Kansas City. So how good as he is post-snap is going to be a big deal. 2, defensive back blitzes. That is going to be the key in this game for the protection, the diagnosis. No team blitzes defensive backs more than the Chiefs. And if you just look at Jalen Hurts, the last time that he saw defensive back blitzes versus this defense, he was a lesser quarterback. And so, but it's not just him. This is going to be the receivers communicating to the quarterback, the offensive line, handling it all, the backs, whether it's Gainwell or Saquon Barkley or Will Shipley, handling those defensive back blitzes will be huge in this game because they are going to come and come often.
To your point, they have to expect something, especially in critical moments. That's what slipped up for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
No doubt.
Spags is going to have that plan.
It slips up versus everybody.
No, absolutely. And to your point about even just disguising the single versus double, they disguised Jalen in the 3 times that he's gone against him more than any other team by like 10%. So they know they're going to make him think so he doesn't have that clear picture just to shoot it over to A.J. Brown.
For reference, we saw him put up a great performance against the Commanders. The Commanders only blitzed a DB on 3% of Hurts dropbacks in the NFC Championship. That'll be a whole lot higher percentage in this game. All right, in other news out of Los Angeles, may not be the seismic shift of Anthony Davis traded from the Lakers for Luka Doncic in the NBA, but Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp says the team is seeking to trade him. Kupp posted a goodbye to LA on X, in part saying this: I don't agree with the decision and always believed it was going to begin and end